According to the infographic show, around 70% of the US population has engaged in behaviors that could have potentially led to imprisonment. It is important to reevaluate our actions and acknowledge that innocence may not always be as clear-cut as we believe. To discover if you are part of this population, click through the gallery and examine the information. Using public Wi-Fi without permission or piggybacking can result in fines and potential jail time in specific states. As illustrated by a case in Michigan in 2007, a man was fined $400 for accessing his email through a cafe's free Wi-Fi while in his car. Although streaming services have greatly reduced music piracy, many individuals will recall their experiences on Napster or LimeWire, where they would download free, low-quality MP3s. According to the infographic show, around half of American millennials engage in watching illegal streams. This behavior can have serious consequences, making it wiser to consider subscribing to a legitimate streaming service. Don't assume you can evade streaming service fees by using a friend's password. Be aware that sharing passwords for subscription services is considered a federal offense. If fictitious details were provided by you while registering for a website to avoid receiving spam emails, under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, you may be considered as a perpetrator. According to the Illegal Gambling Act of 1970, betting with friends in activities like poker or workplace fantasy football is prohibited by law. Engaging in such activities when the amount exceeds $2,000 is classified as operating an illegal gambling operation. Even though you may enjoy having a picnic outdoors with wine or stepping out of a bar for some fresh air, it is important to note that drinking in public is generally prohibited across most of the country. Everyone has experienced challenging times, especially during their college years. However, unless you reside in Nevada, Montana, or Missouri, being publicly intoxicated can lead to serious consequences. In Indiana, this can result in a maximum of 180 days imprisonment, along with a substantial financial penalty. When it appears that everyone else begins consuming alcohol during their teenage years, it can be challenging to wait until the age of 21. Many individuals are likely to have taken a sip or two before they were legally allowed to do so. Although legal in most states, certain locations have stricter regulations. Generally, it goes unnoticed unless encountered by an exceptionally diligent law enforcement officer. Even though you shouldn't engage in it, just a reminder that it is against the law to do so. E-waste is deemed illegal in several states due to the harmful chemicals it releases into water supplies, posing health risks. The crosswalk is situated 1 unit away, but the destination you require is directly across the street. What is the appropriate course of action? The probable response is, regrettably, unlawful, despite certain cities scarcely acknowledging it. According to the infographic show, that is the most frequently violated law in the US, which results in charges. Driving at a slower speed due to uncertainty about the highway exit is still unlawful, even though it may cause a slight delay. While it may be bothersome to deal with a stack of mail that you believe is insignificant, discarding another person's mail. It is considered a felony according to the U.S. Code 1702. This code refers to such an act as an obstruction of correspondence. When you move, changing your address with the DMV may not be your top priority. However, in most states, it is necessary to do so within a few days. If you consume food before paying, whether it's indulging in a beverage while in line or nibbling on the fruit already in your cart, you are considered an offender. Be wary of how unsettling your stories are, as some states prohibit the creation of disturbing material. A teenager was suspended from school and prevented from graduating just for writing a story that spooked teachers. Using your phone while driving may not seem risky, but fines in several states are substantial. Investing in a hands-free system can save you a significant amount of money. When was the last time you counted 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, before proceeding after a stop sign? We're all guilty of this at some point. Sharing prescription medication with a loved one, even with good intentions, is illegal and should be avoided to abide by the law. When you acquire a dog, the paperwork can be an unwanted hassle, especially when your furry friend just wants to have fun. However, in many states, it is required by law to license your dog to ensure proper tracking of their rabies vaccinations. According to Cracked, states such as New York and Florida have laws against graffiti that prohibit the possession of broad-tipped, indelible markers in public areas. Additionally, in certain states, individuals must be over 18 years old to purchase these markers. Utilizing copyrighted images such as movie stills or a photographer's work on platforms like Facebook, blogs, or as wallpapers may lead to potential legal complications. It may be tempting to believe that wearing a seatbelt isn't necessary for a short drive, but failing to fasten your seatbelt is a violation of the law. Ensure you buckle up to avoid incurring substantial fines. Singing the cheerful song publicly was against the law before 2016. The song had a copyright worth $25 million in the 1980, rendering it unlawful for public performance until it entered the public domain. This primarily relates to the challenging times of being a heavily intoxicated college student. However, it is important to note that in most states, the exhibition of genitalia in public is prohibited. You know you weren't supposed to do it, and the cops know it too. Will it happen again when no one's around?